1. Learn to play the game. Game is why men have a late prime and women have an early prime. The female game is looks and attitude. They don't need a game. They sit there looking pretty, acting sweet, and men come for an interview. The male game is experience and strength. If you have lifting covered, you have the strength part covered. Experience is something that is invaluable and incredibly important. Observe any girl who likes a man older than them by half a decade and they will all show you that they like them for their experience and what they are able to do. And this is the absolute major key to success and something that most men don't want to hear because it implies responsibility. I don't care how bad you look. I will tell you what women want to hear and what makes them tingle. When a man says I can do that, those 4 words are on top of the shelf. There's a reason why women love confident men, because they're guys who know how to do things and that is manly and attractive. Female primitive brain fires up when a man just knows. I can do that is one of the biggest turns-ons that you can display to a woman. You can fix things around the house. You can make her laugh. You can fight. You can do this and that, etc. If you are a man who can do anything, you are incredibly valuable to women and men. And this is incredibly important because it is something that you can work on and that is in your ability to do so. Also, I'd like to say that if a man comes at me saying, "Oh, I can do so many things and yet no one wants me," he should expect a reply saying, "You can't attract a woman. Therefore, you can't do something." So don't overestimate yourself. 2. Mate testing. Mate test or shit test is a test that a girl performs on a male by saying or doing something to judge the reaction or response from him. Mate testing is good and natural. If it pisses you off, you have a feminine mindset. The vast majority of men that women like get mate tested to some degree. The only people I can think of that don't get mate tested are very famous people whom women have already assessed that they want to bang and get attention plus riches from, and mate testing could mess it up. Ask the Chad that gets women, and he will tell you that he gets some level of a test. Women implying they're being taken advantage of, calling them a playboy, saying other snarky things, asking if they're the only girl they're talking to, etc. Really, just ask any experienced man what women say moments before they're bent over. They do this to see how the man reacts. If you take it personally, you messed up and you should change your mindset. Hot guys get tested some, and average guys get tested plenty. 90% of men who complain about women giving them a tough time got tested and failed, and the other 10% met a freaky one. Mate testing is biological, and merely a way for women to challenge men and see if they're able to do what they look like they could. Again, mindset. You're not jumping through hoops and passing tests like a monkey. You're showing a silly girl who wants to test you what's what. The only other people besides famous dudes who don't get tested are the ones who aren't desirable. Candidates who don't get invited to an interview don't even get the chance to get the job. When a woman doesn't like you, she will stay away from you, and she will tell other women to do the same. Now, let me say that looks will impact the way you get mate testing responses and how much. At the end of the day, all you have to do is pass that because. 3. Regrets are a waste of time. This is something that I suffered from for years and that I wish I had someone tell me much earlier. I've only realized it this year, and while some would think it is a very late revelation, I like to think that it is a blessing I found this out at a young age. You can avoid feeling an insurmountable amount of dread from losing your youth to BS that was in my control. As a man, your early life, while being somewhat important, doesn't matter as much as when you get to adulthood, and by adulthood I mean the early to mid-20s. Early years are the name of the female game. They get pretty, bloom, grow up, become highly desirable, date, do all the things they want to do, and then marry in their mid to late 20s. Men, however, are different. They work in the other direction. Most of them are not that desirable when they're young, but as they grow up, they lift, they learn, they get talent and riches and experience that matters. This goes double for teenagers here. Your time will come. Youth importance is BS media pushing that only applies to women, and has messed up so many men mentally because they don't work the same. Women's prime is in their late teens to mid-20s, and they have options that men don't, which is why men who focus on youth get depressed. Men's prime is dependent on their success and age, which is, on average, in their mid-20s to late 30s, with some men never losing their prime. Never forget that. 4. Lifting is very important. Do not use BS examples of pretty model boys to cope. This is something I've recently seen when it comes to modern men, and I blame Instagram culture for it. They start saying how they're too short to lift, or how only face matter and lifting is an ass, or how Jim Cell is coping and you only lift weights and eat chicken to hopelessly find someone to love you. If you think that, that's great and all, but you don't know things. So maybe stop talking nonsense and find out the real thing. Men tell men to lift because it works. Lifting is masculine, and looking good can be one of the biggest confidence boosters you will ever have. I had a bad upbringing where I was a weak loser, and I would like to thank lifting for getting me to where I am right now. I thank it for being able to walk without suffering. I thank it for being able to have women turn their heads and see me as attractive. I thank it for the pain that I don't have and that my fat friend does at his weight. Like I said, lifting is important. It's only half of the puzzle, though. Looks are important, but average looks and good game beats nice looks and no game. That is why. 5. One woman equals more women. Gossip is a man's single greatest double-edged sword. This is how a guy ends up banging a girl and her girlfriends because she can't help telling them how great you've been. This isn't for you. They're bragging and showing you off because women, and now women being women, want to have a taste of you. If they don't pursue you while you're together, they will pursue you when you break up. She will tell them all the details and all the intricacies, especially if you've given them pleasure. Women getting pleasure from a man is often very rare. Even if you are smaller, a woman will want what most men can't provide: tingles. This also works in reverse. They will talk bad about you and you will suffer. Therefore, if you're coming for the king, you best not miss. But even if you do, it's no skin off your back because 6. Abundance mentality. Hooking up with women isn't a competition. It is a dance. Relationships are like a dance, and good dancers get attention. What do I mean by this? I mean that if you got rejected by a woman or a group of women, don't stress it. And don't wait for them to take you back. Waiting for someone to reaccept your offer makes you look thirsty and desperate. Just go somewhere else, flirt, have fun, show that you're actually fun, and 9/10 times those same women will later on try and get you because oh damn, he is actually fun and interesting. Abundance mentality exists by default in the mind of every single woman because they know that so many men want them. If you apply the same thing to yourself and show it to be true, you will get a lot of success because abundance equals options equals desirability. Again, gossip works in your favor, and men don't work like this. If a man sees a woman dancing with another man, he will probably move on to another woman. If a woman sees it, she will wait her turn because who the hell is she to have fun and not me with the cool man? That's not fair. I want to have fun too.